Viewers. Hey there, viewers. Are we live? Is it live? Is it live? To quote Run DMC, because Daryl Mack will do things like that. Lovely sunset occurred last night, but lovely sunrise occurring now in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. Yes, it's a delight, and of course, it's a delight to have all of you lovely viewers tuning in to the live stream. Thanks to everybody who has, and congratulations on realizing the channel exists. I'm your host, Dan, aka Smash-O-Mash, from the Smash News Network, the busted name in news. And today we're going to be talking about riding food, and of course, about space weather. So yesterday we went over what's in my water bottles, what I was having for breakfast before my 25-mile group ride. Today, we'll be talking about a different breakfast and a different group ride of a different length with a lot more riders. More than zero, as yesterday's ride had a very low number of riders. But yeah, we're gonna do a different pre-ride breakfast today. And then we're going to briefly talk about things like space weather. We may touch on planetary alignments as well. So if you're spooked of the planets, definitely press unsubscribe if you've subscribed to the channel. But if you understand, junior high physics and astronomy and so forth, then maybe press the subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, congratulations again on realizing it exists. Don't forget to press like and so forth. We need the assistance of people just like you. Otherwise, folks might not see the videos. YouTube, they don't exactly do a good job promoting the channel. So, you want to know what's in my oatmeal? Well, right now, just salt. Yeah, just salt. But we're going to upgrade. We're going to upgrade that oatmeal. And some of you might think it's gross. So we invite you to leave comments. Tell us what you're having for breakfast. Mine is going to be some things that you might not even think are good riding food. But that's okay. Been doing this a while. It won't hurt my feelings if you have a critical analysis. So here's what we're putting in the oatmeal, in addition to the salt. So this is a Pennsylvania Dutch classic, as I am Pennsylvania Dutch. Perhaps that's why I'm wearing orange. We'll leave that for a different stream. But here's what's going in the oatmeal. Well, first, maybe this will cause people to lose their you-know-whats. Cayenne pepper. Yeah, cayenne pepper. Putting cayenne pepper in the oatmeal to give it a little bit of a bite. Hey, hello from Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. Thanks for tuning in. The Hateful Create. Love it. Apple butter. That's what's going in the oatmeal, baby. Apple butter. This is the legit stuff straight out of Shirley Brothers Orchard in Douglasville, Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's legit. It's local. 1 pint of pure apple butter, which contains fresh apples, fresh cider, cinnamon, no sugar added. So yeah, that's the sweetener for today's oatmeal. And wait till you see what I'm having for my other portion, the protein part of today's pre-ride breakfast. You might be shocked and appalled. And frankly, because of the way the YouTube's pathetic algorithm works, I wouldn't be offended if you were shocked and appalled. So definitely let us know in the comments. The Hateful Create. I'm going to say something in your language or in the language where you're located, because Germany is very big on national language. They dub everything into German. So, and later I'm going to fulfill this, but ich möchte ein Franziskaner. Ich möchte ein Franziskaner Hefeweiß. All right, so yeah, I've spoken a foreign language today. Box checked. Mein Deutsch ist schlecht. All right, yeah. Happy Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. And let's make the other part of my breakfast because I'm not going to sit here and eat breakfast, at least not all of it, while I'm doing the live stream. But here we go. First ingredient in my protein, Italian bread. No, I didn't make it myself. Am I going to start making Italian bread myself? Yes. Yes, I am. It's going to happen. I will be buying flour and yeast and so forth. But at the moment, it's just store-bought bread. Don't hate. Don't hate on the store-bought bread. All right. So I'm just cutting myself 2 slices here because I am making a sandwich. It's going to be a kick-ass sandwich. And it's not going to be your average everyday sandwich, but a sandwich nonetheless. All right, what do we have here? Oh, we got some comments here. Are you in prison? Oh, no, wait. First one is, are you Amish? Let me share some information about the Amish. The Amish only wear muted colors, like white, gray, and black. So if you see somebody wearing colored clothing, they aren't Amish. I know this because I've spent many weekends in Amish country, riding my bike, often with the Amish, because, you know, roads. So yeah, not Amish. I mean, what? You think I'd be on YouTube if I was Amish? Amish aren't allowed to use technology. Are you in prison? Oh yeah. I'm in prison. Everybody has these in prison, don't we? It's AmbiHost, okay? It's my AmbiHost jacket. Good God. Good God, people. All right. Let's get some hair showing here, because that'll be something else for people to be like mad about, confused about. I have quad color hair, by the way. My hair is 4 colors. 4 colors. You guess. You guess which colors. Be right back. All right, so like I said, today's sandwich is going to be pretty berserk. And we're going to go with like a PA Dutch take on an Italian sandwich. How you like that? So first ingredient is going to be, I know it might sound strange, but here it is, olive oil. Olive oil straight on the bread. Straight on the bread. Going to saturate the inside of 1 piece of bread with olive oil. It's almost like buttering your bread, except way better, especially if you have this insanely good Spanish Zhoul brand product. Just saying. We're going to add rosemary and dill. Little sprinkle of rosemary, because flavor matters. And a little bit of dill to sour it up. Lastly, going to give a little splash of red wine balsamic vinegar. Yes. Just a little splash. Not going to soak the bread. So yeah. Oh, and last but not least, some salt. This is Morton's kosher salt. Use iodized salt. Use pink Himalayan salt. Use whatever kind of salt. I don't care. All right. Next ingredient. This is what makes it a PA Dutch take. Horseradish cheese. It looks just like regular American cheese, but it's not. It's very strong horseradish cheese. If you don't like horseradish, you'll hate this cheese. I like horseradish and nearly all spicy foods because I like to have a religious experience while I'm eating. Yes, if I'm eating and I go into shock or I see a deity because my food is that spicy, that's what I'm into. So, yeah, there's that. I prefer to go into shock while eating. That's how spicy I like my food. It makes for a more interesting dining experience. You see, I eat a lot of calories. Sometimes 5, 6, 7,000 calories in a day, because that's what endurance athletes have to do. Because after we do our 40 miles of bike riding, which is what the plan is for today, then we have other things to do, like make lunch and binge watch a TV show or something. So there you go. That is a bonkers sandwich right there. That is a salami and horseradish with organic, whatever, olive oil, red wine vinegar, rosemary, and dill. So that is how you make a sandwich, folks. There's about 6 slices of hard salami on there. So yeah, hard salami, horseradish cheese. You heard the rest of the ingredients. Don't like it? Leave an angry comment. Now this is very high in fat, not nearly as high in protein as the 3 eggs that we cooked yesterday, but this will digest more slowly than the eggs. I'm going to be on the bike for quite a while. So it's there's a 37-mile group ride planned. You know, that's going to be the thing. And yeah, so that is the breakfast. That is the breakfast, maybe of champions, but also of me. So there you go. That's what I'm having after this stream ends. Oatmeal with cayenne pepper and apple butter, and a salami and horseradish cheese sandwich, straight out of prison, which is, of course, why you see, you know, because this is what it looks like in prison, isn't it? Right? At Brittany's house and in prison, it looks just like this. You see? You see? All right, let's cover briefly space weather and earth weather as we have an amazing day on tap for the Lehigh Valley. It's going to be like cloudless all day today with a forecast high of 47 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very nice because we often get an early winter deep freeze. So we got one early in December, and then we had another like significant deep freeze where we had some, you know, some pre-glaciation looking stuff forming, where everything turned into a sheet of ice for days and days. And it was absolutely amazing. When a hike on flat ground is challenging, that's a hike that I want to do. So we're going to talk space weather and earth weather. Let me get myself off the screen since I'm a Zhoul. And if you're wondering what a Zhoul is part zombie and part ghoul. Oh yes. I think I'm too low here. Let me raise my thing. My tripod isn't a tripod. It's one of those flexible things. And it's spectacular. All right, let me handle these comments here while I bring things up on the screen. As far as how I smell, I actually smell fantastic pretty much all the time. So, feeling good, smelling better. If you're mad about it, I'm terribly sorry. Feeling good, smelling better. And of course, we named a solar filament yesterday. If you don't follow us on Twitter, maybe you oughta. The Oulu Cosmic Ray Station, huh? Let's take a look at the sun right now. There's the SDO imagery, and you see we've got a bunch of active regions setting here. So some spectacular magnetic loops here in the 171 angstroms wavelength. Check out that. All right. I look like MCA from the Beastie Boys. Well, I hope I look a little better because MCA's been dead for like 15 years, so I probably look a little better than MCA, but thanks. Spartan, it looks like a kitchen to me. Maybe I'm nuts. I know, right? You look like you're a fancy jail inmate. That's right. That's right. All Zhouls look like fancy jail inmates. So that is the goal. Although, you know, I probably wouldn't have long hair if I were in jail because, you know, there could come a situation where I'd have to, you know, beat somebody to death and all. And of course, that would be, having long hair would be non-conducive to that practice. They wear blue too. I've been to the Pennsylvania Amish. Yeah, I guess they wear blue, but yeah, they wear all muted colors. So keep in mind if you see a horse and buggy, right, and like there's like women in there and they have like pink dresses on, they're Mennonites, not Amish. All right, people get Mennonites and Amish confused all the time, and the way to tell them apart is this: if you see a flower pattern, they're not Amish. If you see a house that's like a modern house that has electricity and things and looks just like a regular everyday modern house, and you see like a lady with a bonnet and a flower print dress, Mennonite. If they're on a farm and everything's painted flat black and everybody's wearing gray and blue and like all these just single colors and they're all like no bright colors, that's Amish. Like, there's a place called the Green Dragon, okay? It's adjacent to a town called Ephrata, Pennsylvania. And the Green Dragon is billed as the world's largest open-air market. It's massive. And, you know, if you ever come to Eastern Pennsylvania, you should go to the Green Dragon because you will have access to things that you can only get there. Like, they have berries that you've never heard of that they've already made into pies and jams and things. So like the gifts that you can get from this place, these things don't propagate more than a few miles out of town because it's like the Fertile Crescent of the United States. It's bonkers. All right. Anyway, yes, I look like a fancy inmate because I am a Zhoul. I'm half ghoul and half zombie. You decide. You guess which. Did you know that the average person's colon can stretch to accommodate 4 to 5 rats? Yeah, intestines are stretchy. It's one of the many ways that we prevent ourselves from dying all the time. Just going through your chats here, and we're gonna let me bring up the GOES imagery. Somehow I closed a window or something. So let's look at those magnetic loops in motion here instead of looking at my Zhoulish face, because the closest star is a little more picturesque than me. All right. And I'll address the rest of your comments here if I'm lucky. It is currently 7:37 a.m. here in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. So after that plays through once, we're going to zoom in on that lovely southwestern region. And it looks like the Sarohusial filament is still very unstable. So we named this one yesterday the Sarohusial filament. And you can see it's acting pretty rowdy. So that's what you like to see, right? Space weather. It's fun. It's not scary. The sun's not going to kill you. If you're spooked of space weather, tune into a different channel, because space weather isn't scary, isn't dangerous. Maybe if you're an astronaut, maybe if you're an airline crew or pilot. Beyond that, it's definitely not going to do very much to you at all. Yes, it can affect people that have other health conditions and so forth. Is the sun going to suddenly do something spooky and kill you? The chances of that are damn close to zero. So stop being spooked of space. If you're spooked of space, Learn junior high physics or unsubscribe, or maybe even both. You are invited to unsub. All right, so yeah, people are having hard times, and I'm frankly sick of hearing all the nonsense on the internet. So, I don't want to give you a proper talking to, but you might have a proper talking to coming your way. So, yeah, let's look at the Sarah Husial filament some more here. We named this one on Twitter. If you want to name filaments after living people, do it over on Twitter. Twitter.com/Smashomash, all over the internet at Smashomash. Look at that filament. What a fantastic. This one is going to be studied. This one is going to, okay, look it's actually a different filament. This one here is a Sarah Husial. This filament up here is just erupting right out of this active region. So that's pretty sweet. Let me rock this. All night. The best time to look at the sun is at nighttime. Yeah, it's interacting with the Sarah Husial. Look at this. There's a spot right here where they're sort of connected. So you could make the argument that this is the Sarah Husial filament. I guess I've said her name too many times now for the algo. I assume this video will appear on her Twitter feed. But in any case, there's a pretty decent flare there too. Happening around 5:30 Universal Time this morning, the 8th. Anyway, back to the full disc view while I try to get to the bottom of your comments. Thanks to everybody who's left comments. Keep in mind, I can't respond to them all, but I can read them all. Whew. All right. Oh, I see. You think I'm Amish because... No, I'm not growing a beard. I'm keeping no facial hair in this area. It's great for wearing gas masks and things. But yeah, I'm not growing anything. I'm just not shaving certain areas. There's a big difference between growing a beard and not shaving areas. Plus, it is winter time, so there is a valid argument to be made that facial hair does keep you slightly marginally warmer, which can matter and can maybe even stop your face from freezing off in certain conditions. Check out the massive filament we have down here as well. There's a huge prominence down there. It is spectacular. So lots of activity going on here despite relatively low flaring and so forth. Really cool stuff. We can get a great zoom in there of all of those features. Mario says Ben got a new scam going. Ben Shapiro? Who's Ben? I'm not on a first name basis with anybody named Ben. Maduro, come to my voice. US_John says, Maduro, come to my voice. Oh, that's great. All right. Donut Time 2507 says, what has 5 toes and isn't your foot? A repo company? Oh, that would be spelled wrong. I don't know. You tell me. How'd the oats turn out? They're spectacular. They taste freaking awesome, and they're full of the energy that I'll need to pedal a bike 40 miles today. Love you too, Alberto Caballero. Nice day, bro. Cheers. Why are you dressing like a 12-year-old? Because this is my first outfit of the day. This is what I put on to walk the girlfriend to her work. So you don't like the outfit? I'm terribly sorry. Like, it's just a base layer and a hat. It's a turtle fur hat. Does that make you mad? Does this make you madder? Definitely tell us how mad you are about my outfit in the comments. I mean, I'll wear more ridiculous stuff than this. Like this isn't even scratching the surface, folks. I mean, I will dress like a 1 year old, like a 6,000 year old. I'll dress like a 1 billion year old. I'll dress like all the year olds, and I still won't tell you my age. Zorg switched his product lineup from weapons to sandwiches. Well, little did you know, you can make a sandwich into a weapon. It's more arrow, but it looks like a dunce cap, so it's not really appropriate. There we go. That's there we go. That's what you want. That'll make somebody mad. Shout out to Simon Laban. All right, there we go. That's better. Now I've probably made half of the audience angry, which is the goal of all YouTube videos, by the way. If you're mad about that, definitely let us know in the comments. Terribly sorry. And it looks like the CME that we talked about yesterday is still in the process of ejecting. Oh no, it has ejected. Look, there it is. And it looks like University of Reading says it's going to miss. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, Reading says it's going to miss to the east. I say it's going to cause a glancing blow on Earth. But hey, we'll have to see what happens. All right, let's look at some data here. Solar wind is current. Wait a minute. Why haven't I seen sunspot number? Oh, that's later. Anyway, the solar wind conditions are currently, as shown by ACE, quite nominal here. Quite nominal. Not very exciting at all. At all. Come on. Scroll slow like a nice computer. There we go. All right, so the real-time solar wind is a BTBZ of 7 nanotesla with a BZ of positive 2, a solar wind density of 2 protons per cubic centimeter, and about 400 kilometers a second for the velocity. Sunspot number has dipped as a bunch of sunspots have set on the western limb. There still is a high propensity for large flares at that western limb, especially since we can't see what the sunspots are doing. But the current sunspot number is all the way down below 100 here to about 72 sunspots. 72 is the sunspot number. Now, like we said yesterday, NOAA is indeed forecasting a geomagnetic storm for tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning and Saturday morning, both Friday and Saturday morning, I'll be looking for aurora here in eastern Pennsylvania. Hopefully you're able to see some at your mid-latitudes if you're located in mid-latitudes and or wherever you're located or whatever. Or if you're spooked of space weather, then I really hope none happens, because I don't want to see you spooked of space weather. The 10.7 centimeter radial flux is at about 145 solar flux units. That's going to dip today. If you want to follow it, it's solon.info/solar. Next, the coronagraph, which shows a halo at the moment. What the heck? So there's a halo. That looks like a perfectly Earth-directed CME. Look at that. Is it a far side event or is it an Earth side event? Let us know in the comments what you think, but that could be a major Earth impact. And I think it is, because of that filamentary activity we looked at yesterday. It's still going on. So stereo A will tell us. So let me show you the data. Let me show you the data, Master Beta. All right, here you go. Here it is. Read 'em and weep. Is it going to end civilization? Nope. The answer is no. Do we have it? I think we have it. Oh, it's far side, but it's major. Look at that. There's a shock wave. Wow. So that is a far side CME, folks. Expect one on the Earth side coming because we showed you that filamentary instability. I mean, look at this. Look at that. That is bonkers. And a far side CME can affect the Earth side. So the Saruhusial filament is still poised to erupt. Look at that. That is unstable if ever there was unstable. If this does a major flare, don't be surprised to see a major flare right here, right in this area. All right. Continuing on. This is where planets are located. This is not to scale. They're actually really far apart. And if this planetary alignment scares you, then you're an astrologer. Astrology is not science. Please understand the difference. The Gauss proton flux is still at baseline levels. No major flares. That flare from this morning, it was only a C-class event. There is a possibility for M-class or even X-class events, but that possibility is a little bit on the low side. But that's where things currently are. The background flux is basically a B-class background flux as the sun ramps down towards solar minimum. All right, here is the heliosphere. That is the magnetism Earth is in at the moment. It is South Pole oriented. These magnetic field lines point at the sun. These magnetic field lines point out into space. Coronal holes and their polarity are what are affecting this heliosphere. Earth right in the center of a South Pole oriented magnetic sector. Current sheets and sector boundary crossing several days out here just approaching stereo B, which is this. And by the way, this is stereo A, which we showed earlier. We showed the data from it. Next, our coronal hole line of sight plot. You'll see South Pole oriented coronal holes there, except that the heliographic South Pole coronal holes, they're super important. They show us the solar polar field reversal process as the solar cycle continues. They're also the source of the high-speed solar wind. Next, Cerro Tololo. Cerro Tololo's ground-based solar observatory to show magnetic fields of sunspots. We're just going to show today. Likelihood for major solar flares really isn't there. Yeah, so don't expect a big flare here. That filament might stay stable, but I still think it's going to erupt, whether we see a flare or not. Keep in mind, folks, and I say it all the time, solar flares and coronal mass ejections are separate phenomena. So please don't conflate the two, okay? A solar flare is X-rays, a sudden burst of high X-ray flux. That is a solar flare. It's photons, like this. Photons, light, in the frequency of X-rays. Solar flares. Coronal mass ejections. Let me demonstrate. You hear that sound? That's gas blowing across a microphone. That's kind of like a coronal mass ejection, except quadrillions of times more dense than the gas measured at Lagrangian point 1, where we measure the solar wind. Coronal mass ejections are protons. Solar flares are photons. Please don't confuse the two. All right. Moving right along to continue to be a Zhoul and look at the red light, because it shows us sunspots in a more traditional sense, like what you'd see if you just used a basic solar filter from a ground-based solar observatory, which is what Cerro Tololo, Chile is. Part of the National Sunspot Observatory, the Gong data. There it is. Now, this area is more magnetically complex than this one, but this one is the one that has the huge plasma filament attached to it, which we will show next. The Saruhusial filament remains intact. And we can't wait to see it eject. Today would be a perfect day, or tomorrow, by the way. So look at that filament. It is absolutely unstable. And you can see this anchored area right here. This is where it looks like it's going to let loose. So if it does, we could have an absolutely massive Earth-directed solar storm. Fingers crossed for that, because we like to see the aurora. It's good for the channel. It's good for people's fun. It's good for people's understanding of science and physics and astronomy and so forth. It even makes little kids into solar scientists. Future solar scientists. It's one of the many reasons to cover these videos in a way that is sensible. Think about the kids, folks. If you are a dick, you're going to be encouraging kids to be a dick. So mitigate that shit. All right, look, this is the most active spot. This is the most likely place, statistically speaking, for solar flares. There is a significant possibility for large solar flares here around the southwestern limb and also right around here. But the main feature to watch is this massive C-shaped filament. Follow the hashtag #NameThatFilament on Twitter, and you too can name filaments after your friends, your foes, or even yourself. Hashtag #NameThatFilament at SmashOMash on Twitter. Twitter.com/SmashOMash. You can find links on the homepage. And thanks. I'm glad that you like my lesbian hair. My lesbian hair. Love ya. Just like you love my hair. Ka. Anyway, there's Twitter. Here's what the profile looks like. There you go. There's the profile. Isn't it lovely? Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Goes electron flux here, probably going back into storm levels once again. We did see a big drop off here, so let's hope. It looks like your GPS might work a little bit better today. Let's take a look at the ionosphere. The F region, as monitored by the Australian Government Bureau of Meteorology. So there you go. That's what's going on in the ionosphere. That's the vibrational frequency. And it is actually looking a little bit better. So there's the anomaly in megahertz from a 30-day median. We've got low frequency anomalies down here. It looks like your GPSs will be performing a little bit better today. So congratulations on that. Isn't that exciting? Next, we're going to animate the Atlantic Ocean sunrise. There you go. For all of you people who think that the Earth is shaped in a nefarious fashion, now's your chance to comment and say, show me a photo. There's a photo. Dude's a waster and cycling the bike makes him feel like he's an athlete. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like you're not an athlete. Bendy says, looks like diarrhea. Well, your comment sounds like diarrhea. It even has the word diarrhea in it. Why is he cosplaying as a prisoner? Because it gives me street cred, yo. Dude, Montana's winter has never been this warm ever. Sweet. I'll bet you got some killer snowboard conditions there. Why is he dressed like a 12-year-old? After your gender transition, you've become more confident, Alice. Well, thank you, Lala Luka Kaka. Dude, couldn't get any gayer. Dude, are you obsessed with gay? If you're like thinking about gay all the time, you might want to consider dating some dudes if gay is on your mind 24/7. Which sun is this? So there's only one sun. It's the local yellow dwarf, the star around which Earth orbits. All right. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I'm an hour behind on the chats. Sorry. But the stream's only been 40 minutes long, so I think you might be exaggerating. Point made. Hey, friend, do you still have your foreskin or have you had the chop? That's none of your goddamn business. Try to find out. Just try. I dare you. I have quite an enticing task I've enlisted myself upon. Okay, what might that be, Mr. Salty Baller? Would it have to do with putting salty balls in your mouth? Just wondering. I say chop that a guest. Send some hearts if you think he has a foreskin. Dude, watch your spamming there, Rod Todd. You're on the road to getting muted. Ah, yes. Pixis, unsubbed. All right, congratulations, congratulations. We don't want our videos on your subscription feed either. Or party hats if you think he has a giant foreskin. Stop spamming. Rod Todd, this is your warning. You get one. 2 strikes, and you're getting muted. Don't worry, it's only temporary. Don't spam. It says it right in the rules. You got to press OK in order to even chat. I want my filament to match my Aurora. All right, well, Tracy from Daycare, you got to tag me on Twitter. Tell us which filament you want named after you, and then pick a filament that you want named after you that is going to become an Earth-directed solar storm. I mean, that's the whole point of it. It's a forecasting tool. The same way winter storms are named now. You know, the Weather Channel, they're going to name solar storms. So we're ahead of the game here, naming solar filaments, the things that often are seen long before they erupt and cause solar storms. Even at solar minimum, sometimes filaments erupt. Remember, flares and CMEs are separate phenomena. You don't even need to see one for the other. We see flares all the time with no coronal mass ejection, and we see coronal mass ejections all the time with no solar flare. Yeah, this channel does not usually have foreskin chat, so you should probably stick to stuff that the videos are about, and you should definitely not spam over and over again against stupid shit like that, because that's how you get muted. So don't be a dumbass, Rod Todd. You want to see the sun at nighttime? OMG, crazy humanity. Yeah, the sun at nighttime is freaking awesome. Like, I can look at the sun at nighttime because I can use, look, whatever time it is, you can use this. The NASA GOES SUVI. It's so spectacular. There it is. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. You can definitely view it. Isn't that special? All right, so continuing on here, we're going to cover some weather stuff as I continue with these comments. Mario12359 says, Ben Davidson. Why would you ever type that in my chat? Jeez, man. Ben has a new scam. Wow, I wonder what it is. Giving dating advice, telling people how to prep, telling people about science without understanding anything about science. Yeah, I'm sure. Super Cool says, all right, so I'm Jewish and I dated another like-minded individual. She broke up with me because he heard another fellow had up to 20% off the top. Ha, ha, ha. What's this Caucasians know about Maduro? It will remain classified. What, if anything, I know about Maduro? So, sorry, that information is classified. His beanie looks like a giant foreskin on his head. All right, it's getting hot in here, so I'll take off all my clothes. It's getting hot in here, so I'm gonna take off all my clothes. Hot in here, so hot, you're gonna take my clothes off. Just kidding, just kidding. All right. These comments are all worthless, pretty much. And I'll just remind you to visit the links below the video and stop believing NASA's lies. You can save a bunch of money on Redbubble. And it would be very nice if you understood that Earth is shaped like a croissant. Croissant Earth. Stop believing NASA's lies. Tell your friends and foes about croissant Earth before it's too late. Stop believing NASA's lies about the shape of the planet. What are you, an idiot? You think the planet's shaped like an oblate spheroid or a snow globe or something? Shove it. Shove it. Here's your water vapor map for the U.S. Dry air down here, moist air making its way into Texas. That's the Bonsai Pipeline right there. The Pineapple Express, baby, straight out of Baja, Mexico. It is some major moisture making its way into Texas. Texas. And anyway, that's a forecast that you don't need to see because that's for here, and you're probably not here in Lehigh Valley, PA, like I am. Here's your U.S. Doppler radar map. And like I said, there's a bunch of moisture making its way into Texas, and lo and behold, there's precip happening there. Who would have ever thought that I could forecast the weather by understanding basic physics? Well, guess what, folks? You can too. Here's a temperature map. How about a nice satellite map for the U.S.? We're going to have a lovely sunny day with a high of 47 degrees here in Pennsylvania. It is going to be spectacular, and this is what it's looking like from the sat view. So beautiful. Windy.com, a great mobile app there. Uh, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. People regularly think that I'm younger than I am. You know, you don't you don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. So there's that. Enjoy. By the way, I can go uphill faster than you. So there's that. Whatever age I am, I can go uphill faster than you. A lot faster. For a lot longer. I'm concerned about performance. So, like, you guys don't have any idea how thick my skin is. I could sand yours off. The angriest weatherman on the internet is the age the eldest we get, the mad we get. Okay. Wow. The Earth's not going to explode. That's not a thing. It's been around billions of years. If you think you're that special, you aren't. It's not going to explode because you're around. You son of a bittern! I'm not even showing forecast models today. Actually, yeah, let's show a forecast model for Australia because they're going to have an insane rain event. So let's show it. We're going to show a 72-hour GFS forecast once again for total accumulated precipitation because it's going to be there are areas that are going to get 500 millimeters. 500 millimeters. Anyway, there are those areas. This thing's going to come out of the Coral Sea, and but yeah, the forecast looks the same as it was yesterday. And like that's why I have confidence that the GFS forecast is accurate because it's accurate out 72 hours. Now, yeah, you might live in a place that has some funky features. Where I am, the weather is extremely hard to forecast here. You have to understand the topographic features and so on, or you can't forecast. Oh my God, my file couldn't be accessed. Let's close out this video with some views of the planet's jet streams, since the jet streams are what are preventing this system from moving to west to east like it normally would. So here are the surface winds. You can see it's very windy in the Coral Sea right now. And here are the jet streams. You can see the jet stream is staying really far south, and this is just being constrained in this area. So there's this water in here is about 82 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's going to, continue to fuel this system for a while. It's going to kind of linger, and, well, we showed you the forecast. So here are the jet streams of the central world. Shout out to our viewers from all around the planet. That's the, 250 hectopascal winds of the central world, like Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. Or the Near East, as politically correct people now call it, I guess. Here are the surface winds of the central world. It's windy on the Mediterranean, and it's windy at places like Ireland. Here are the surface winds of the west. And there are the jet streams. It's time to close this thing out. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in. I'll try to get to your comments here as we continue to show this incredible footage of the Sarah Huzial filament, which was a brilliant name, by the way. Did she even see the tweet? I doubt it. Why? Why do I doubt Sarah saw the tweet? I directly tagged her in the tweet, but I doubt she saw it. You know why, right? Because censorship on Twitter is way worse now than it was in 2025. So for all you Elon fanboy sycophant losers out there who think Elon gives a shit about you or your free speech or how many kids you have, if you think he gives a shit about anything except how much you're investing in Tesla and Bitcoin, then you're a dumbass. Because Elon doesn't give a fuck about you. Elon gives a fuck about Elon, and that's it. Why the hell else would he have 13 kids and see like 2 of them once a month or something? What a jackass. I mean, people's heroes couldn't be more pathetic. Why are there so many people in cults? Why are there so many people in cults? Why are there so many dumbasses who believe nonsense in cults? Cults have 3 features. 1, a living leader. 2, believes nonsense. 3, is harmful. Why are there so many cults? You've got access to more information than humans have ever had in the history of mankind, and you have a higher propensity to believe nonsense than you did just 5 years ago. Why do so many people on YouTube believe so much nonsense? You're going to argue a thing on Facebook without being literate enough to know what the terms mean. So it's like, up yours. All right, so I'm going to try to get to your comments here, as they are many. Once again, thanks for everybody who's left comments. But I've really got to get this show on the road because it's getting late and I've got to be places, a lot of places. Kanye voice, what's a goo goo gaga to a, what's a goo goo to a gaga, what's a gaga to a goo goo? Ah, I can't do a Kanye voice. Ah, ah. Dude reading comments from yesterday. Yeah, I know. Well, that's a lot of comments. What do you want me to say? You're doing your thing and we really enjoy it, but unfortunately there's people that just want to crap all over you, and I'm sorry for that. Mike Woods, we welcome that kind of stuff. We take derogatory comments as compliments. You need to look into it, bro. Bugosphere. Yo, don't be spamming the chat, Gabriel Black B9U, or you will be muted. That's your one warning. Oh, so many comments. So many comments. I have not heard of the Bugosphere. I'm a carpenter. My fingers are like monks. All right. I don't know what any of this is about. Yeah, Bitcoin idiots simping for Elon. Bitcoin is a liability, okay? It's worth however much people are willing to pay for it. And if people just, it's not digital currency. It's a speculative investment like Dutch tulips and nothing more. If you don't know what Dutch tulips are, read up about Dutch tulips and understand why the floor can fall out of Bitcoin at any second with silver at $70 an ounce. Don't even get me started on economics. People are absolutely illiterate about it. Gabriel Black B9U. Yeah, what the hell are you talking about, dude? To explain what the Bugosphere is. If you fail at that, you're getting muted. So choose your spam carefully, because this stream's about to end. Anyway, this is where this stream ends. That is our sun. That's ionized helium. There's a solar storm brewing right here, and it's very likely to be earthly directed when it does eject. And when I say when it does eject, because I'm expecting it to eject, I've learned how to forecast these things. Believe it or not, I don't care if you do or not. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Congratulations once again on Realize That Channel Exists. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. And until next time, may that solar wind be at your back.